In this lesson, I will discuss about a resource bar, which is, you can see on the left hand side. I will give you a more idea about this, what we do exactly with this resource bar. You will see there are a few different tabs available inside this resource bar. Let's say I'm working in the part environment. That means if I make any part, then I have to work with this navigator. This is called part navigator. You can see from here. If you make any part, you have to use different scales and feature. Everything will be listed inside this. Then from here you can control your part, and you can very easily modify your part. Also, you can get any dependency information, detail information. Also, this preview you can also see from here. All the information related to part you can find from here. Let's say if you are working in the assembly environment, then you have to go to this assembly navigator. From here, if you have any assembly open inside this which has 10 part or 10 component, in that case it will be listed here. And then there is another option. This is very nice option added inside the NX. This is called constant navigator. When you will create your assembly, you have to apply constant between the part or between the component to put in the right position inside the assembly. All the constant will be listed here. So you can navigate your constant from one location. Then if you want to reuse any part or any other cutout or any block, anything from the library, then you can use this option. Then if you want to use internal browser which is available inside this NX, you can use that. Then also if you want to use any part which is in history, let's say maybe you want to work with any part or assembly which you worked recently, in that case it will be listed inside this. You can change the preview list. If I want, I can put as a title, or if I want, I can put as a list. Then there are a few other different options available, but frequently you have to work with assembly, constant, part, library, and this history. On the left top corner, there is one setting is available. If I select it, you will see this is pin open. If I select my part navigator and if I uncheck this pin open, and now if I select anywhere here, if I move my cursor, you will see this is hide. If I select it again, I can see it. When I will move my cursor to the right, if I select it anywhere, it will hide. So if you want, you can check this pin option and it will always show you here. In this lesson, I will discuss about top border bar, which is, you can see from here. This is that top border bar. Inside this bar, there are few different tools we can see from here. But if you want, you can customize this. This is highly customizable. If I go to this drop down menu at the corner, you will see there are few different options you can add here. Utility group, if you want, you can add it. If I go to this customize, if I want, I can add any tool to here, but I do not need it. I will delete it. Here the first group is menu, which by default is checked. You need this. There are some different tools. If you want to access it, you have to access it from this menu. So I will recommend it not to close it. Then the next group is selection group, which is this group. It is started from here and end at here. So inside this, you have to frequently use these two boxes, especially this box. If you want to select any curve or face, point, this case, you have to filter it from here. Then on which environment you want to select it, you have to define that entire assembly or with work part and components or with work part only. Also, there are some toggle button is available. Let's say if I create a simple sketch here, now let's say I want to select the middle point. By default, this is selected. If I unselect it, if I try to hover over this line, before I do that, I have to select any tool here. If I select line tool, and if I try to select my center, I can select it. I can see this is my center. But if I unselect this option, this midpoint toggle button, unselect it, and if I try to select the center, I cannot select the center. So this is how all of this toggle button works. If you want, you can also use this. And also on the right hand side, zoom, pan, rotate, fit, and also orient view. Everything is here. Also another very important tool, this view style, it is also here. So I will recommend you don't close any one of these first three options, because frequently you have to use, especially this second and third group, you have to use frequently. Also I will recommend to check this utilities group, and this is that one. If I select it, I can measure it. So this is very common tool to use when you will create any part, or when inside the assembly environment you have to measure a few different area or length or angle. So this is better to keep very frequently. You have to measure the distance between 2 point or 2 line or 2 face. So this is better to keep this option here. In this lesson, I will discuss about role options inside this NX, which is another very important option to understand. You will get that role option inside this resource bar. I will go to bottom. Here I will get this role option. If I select this tab, you will see there are two folders here, content and presentation. If you want to do your presentation inside this NX, in that case you can use this 3 role. But if you want to do some cat or cam work inside this NX, in that case you have to use this content. Inside this content, there are 5 different roles available. This different role means different setting inside this NX environment. Let's say you want to work with cam. In that case you can use cam express, or if you want to work with any advanced option, in that case you can use this. Now what is the difference? Let's say if I select role essential, and now if I go to this drop down menu, you will see there are few tools is active now. But if I select role advanced, and now if I go to this drop down menu, you will find so many different tools is active now. This is just a different setting. Based on your personal choice, you can make your custom role. So in this lesson, I will create a new custom role. All these 5 roles you are seeing, all are by default role inside this NX. You cannot modify any one of this. If you want to modify any one of this, you have to copy from here, and then from there you can modify your role. Let's say I want to start from role advanced. This is by default, this is selected. Now I will right click here and I will select new user role, and I will put a name. Save advanced. Then role type, I will select content, and I want to give access to all applications, so I will press OK. Now this is my new role, and I took a copy from this role advanced because last time it was active. So this is active now. Now I will change few things. If I go to this drop down menu, you will see many different tools is available, which is I will get inside this role advanced, but I want to customize few things here. If I go to this drop down menu of this extrude and revolve, you see there are only 2 tools I can see. But if I go to this drop down menu, the second option, this block I want to use this block frequently, so I will select it, and now I can see it. So I overwrite on this role advanced, and this is my new role which is here. Now I will go to customize. From here I will go to shortcuts. I will select view. In this view, this is view radial shortcuts. So I want to customize this. So in that case, I will go to commands. Before I take any command from here, I will slightly modify this. I will move this to here, and I will move this to the right corner. I will select top, then bottom, then left, then right. Then front, and finally back. I did not take the isometric view, I do not need it, so I will press close. Now if I right click my right mouse button key, You will see this is top, bottom, right, left, front, back. So this is completely customized. Now after you customize everything, you have to right click and you have to save it. If you don't save it and if you double click on any one of these role, then this will go in its default position. So I have to right click and save. Now I saved it. Now I will select role advanced again. If I right click, this is different, but if I go to this role, double click, this role is active. If I right click here, you will see this is different. So this is how you can customize your role. In this full course, I will use this role. So if I change anything, I will just right click and I will save it. In this full course, I will use this role. So if I change any setting inside this NX, I have to right click and save it. In this lesson, I will discuss about different application environment available inside this NX. When you will create any model file, you will find one environment. When you will create a drawing file, you will find different environment. So if you want, you can change this application. So inside the NX, first I will create a new file so that you will understand better. I will create new. And inside the NX, there are many different format is available, many different template is available, because inside the NX, we are using just only one format, which is .prt, and all are format. If I create model, I will get one environment. If I create sheet metal, I will get another environment. Also, if I create the drawing or simulation or manufacturing, inspection, anything if I create, I will get different environment. Let's say I will create my model environment with this model template. Now I am getting this environment inside this role. If I select some standard role, let's say if I select role essential, now this is the environment I am getting. All the tools you are seeing inside this home tab, this is for creating some model. Let's say if I create a new file with this sheet metal, now inside this home you will see this tool set is completely different. 80% tool is new because I want to create some sheet metal part. Now if I try to create a drawing file with this drawing template, here we can see inside this home tab, this tools is completely different. Now tools is different based on this template. Model, assembly, shape, studio, sheet metal. Based on this template, my tool set is completely different. Now how do I change it? Let's say I will create a model. Inside this model template, I have to use this tool. After making this model, I want to transfer my model to the sheet metal part. In that case, I have to activate my sheet metal tool. Now how do I activate it? So I have to go to the N tab, which is called application tab. If I go to this N tab, inside this application tab, there are many different options available. Here you can see this is drafting, this is sheet metal. If I select this sheet metal, now inside this home tab, 80% tools is changed because now I want to transfer my model to the sheet metal part and I want to work with sheet metal tool, which is you can see from here. When I am done, I want to create a drawing from this part file. So in that case, I will go to application, I will select drafting. Now inside this home tab, I will get all drafting tool inside this. So this is how you can change your application. So you can change your application from here. If you work with modeling, you have to select it. If you want to work with drawing, you have to work with drafting. If you want to active your assembly is completely different tab. It will not customize inside this home. If I active this assemblies, you will see this for this assembly, this tab is completely separate, and inside this assemblies, there are many different tools available which is related to assembly. If you want to work with manufacturing or machine tool builder or advanced simulation or from here design, many different application is available. Let's say you want to create some mold design. In that case, I will activate and I will say this mold wizard tab is completely separate. So when you will create some new part, let's say I am creating one drawing file. Now I am thinking, okay, I created my drawing file, but I will not create the drawing. Inside this file, I want to create a model first. So in that case, I will go to application. I will change my application to modeling. Now in the same file, I can make some model. So if you want to change your environment, change it from this application tab.